Today's lesson is on binomials containing radicals. And the first thing I want to talk about is rationalizing the denominator, but we're going to look at it in a little bit of a different context. So let's look at this example here. Okay, we're going to do 2 divided by 3 plus, oh my god, this paste is driving me crazy. This is about to paste a picture that's super cute of my niece that was born today. I didn't mean to do this, but now you guys all get to see my niece. There you go. She's super cute. Okay, undo. So, plus square root 7. All right, now we want to rationalize the denominator. So remember that rationalizing the denominator means that you're going to get rid of the radical in the denominator. So how do you do that? Well, in the past, since we have square root 7, we would multiply by square root 7 over square root 7. Because we have a square root, we want to complete the square, we need 2 7s to make it cancel, so we multiply by this clever form of 1. Well, watch what happens. In the numerator, we have 2 square root 7, and in the denominator, we're going to have to distribute. I'm going to put parentheses around here just to remind myself that I need to multiply to both terms. So this square root 7 I have to distribute to the 3, and I have to distribute to this other square root 7. Well, what's 3 times square root 7? 3 square root 7. Our other term here, square root 7 times square root 7, well, that just cancels out the radical and it becomes just 7. So 3 square root 7 plus 7. Now, have we eliminated the radical in the denominator? Well, we haven't. So this method that we were using before when we had a binomial here in the denominator doesn't work anymore. So this method does not work here. So we got to think of another way to rationalize the denominator. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply by what's called the conjugate. So our problem was, what was it, 2 over 3 plus square root 7. Okay. So we had 2 over 3 plus the square root 7. Now the conjugate, all it does is it changes this sign in the middle. So if I have 3 plus square root 7, I'm going to make it 3 minus square root 7. You're only changing the sign in the middle, in between the terms. You're not changing the sign in front of the 3. You're only changing the sign in the middle. So we're going to multiply by 3 minus square root 7 in the numerator and 3 minus square root 7 in the denominator. This is our clever form of 1. Remember that you're only allowed to multiply by 1 and not change an expression. So really what we're multiplying by here is 1. This is our clever form of 1. Now watch what happens. In the numerator, we have to distribute inside. So we've got 3 minus square root 7. And we have to distribute the 2 inside. I'm going to multiply 2 by 3. And then I'm going to multiply the 2 by a negative square root 7. So I end up with 2 times 3 is 6 minus 2 square root 7. Do it to paste. Okay. Now in the denominator, we have to double distribute because we have a binomial here and we have a binomial here. So I'm going to start out multiplying this 3. So we've got 3 times 3 and then 3 times negative square root 7. Well, 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times negative square root 7 is negative 3 square root 7. Remember, we can't multiply the 3 by the 7 to get 21 because the 3 is not in a radical and the 7 is. So it's just negative 3 square root 7. Now here's the cool part. When we multiply the square root of 7 by 3, we end up with plus 3 square root 7. So maybe you can already see what's happening here. Things are starting to cancel. Why is this open? All right, now the last one, square root 7 times negative square root 7. Well, square root 7 times square root 7 is 7, and positive times negative is negative, so this ends up being minus 7. Now if we combine our like terms, this part in the middle is going to cancel. The negative 3 square root 7 and the positive 3 square root 7. And that's because we have a minus on this one, and that comes from this. And on this term we have a plus, which comes from the plus here. So when we change the sign from plus to minus, it allows us to cancel the middle terms out. And then we just have 9 minus 7. And what's 9 minus 7? Everybody should know. It is 2. So we end up with 6 minus 2 root 7, all divided by 2. And we can go one step further still, and we get 6 divided by 2 is 3, and negative 2 square root 7 divided by 2, the 2's cancel. So we get 3 minus square root 7. And that's it. That's our final answer. We've rationalized the denominator. In fact, in this case, it allowed us to simplify and cancel, and there is no more denominator. So vocabulary. Our new vocabulary is conjugate. And the conjugate is this part that we have in purple up here. And all it is saying that if you have some expression, let's do it in purple, a square root b plus c square root d, the conjugate is simply changing the sign in the middle. So we say that the conjugate is a square root b minus c square root d. Okay, so you are allowed to have a square root here. It doesn't have to be on both terms. And the simple way to think about it is just that the conjugate changes the sign in the middle. Goes from plus to minus or minus to plus. Easy peasy.